Chapter 6, PESTEL Analysis, Technological Factors. In this chapter, we discussed another PESTEL factor, that is the technological factors. We start our introduction and then followed by the impacts on organizational structure and strategy trends from the technological point of view. And then we discuss about the impacts on business processes from the technological factors. So let's start about our introduction. Technological changes can affect an organization in many different ways. Here we would like to focus the changes on organizational structure and business processes, such as the organizational structures. For example, the employees working from home in the past, but right now they may be able to access files and systems at work even from anywhere. Next, product developments, smartphones with increasing capabilities. So you have the smartphone, you can work on a smartphone. It's not just a phone, but you can work on it. You can do your, say, the office work through the smartphone. And also one example is production changes. Now, the computer-controlled machinery or 3D printing can help a lot in the production processes. And marketing. Marketing is one type of business processes, and improving the technology, the marketing team can use the internet or social media to sell the product. So next, we talk about the impacts on organizational structure and strategy trends. Technological change has affected organizational structure in a number of key ways. First, some administrative and managerial roles have been replaced by more effective IT systems. That means in the past, you have to employ or hire a staff working on administrative work. But now we have the systems or strong IT systems that can use very effectively to manage administrative work. One critical example or one important example is scheduling. In the past, a manager or a director may hire the secretary for scheduling or appointments to fill up the time slots on each day. But right now, we have very strong scheduling systems, and the job or the task can be performed by the manager himself or herself. So he or she no needs to hire a secretary or administrative staff to support on scheduling or the appointment booking. So here is one advance from improve in the IT systems. Another way is some production roles have been replaced by the use of robots and automated production lines. This has also reduced the need for as many supervisors. That means the production line in the past may need to hire, say, 50 people to work on the production line. But through the improvement in the IT system and also the changes in the robotics and automated production lines, maybe only 10 or even less than 10 staff, 10 workers for the production line. So it helps to reduce the number of people hired for the production, and you no need to have supervisors to manage 50 staff. You may have only one supervisor to manage 10 staff. And because the change of the production technology, it helps to improve the overall productivity given the same amount of inputs. And improved communication, for example, wireless network video conferencing, email, and that means employees can work out of the office, or even they can stay at home, allowing them to be work on a remote way, and it's more flexible for work arrangements, because like we have wireless network, we have video conferencing, we have email. In the past, you have to stay in the office to do all meeting, or sending mails to the external parties, whatever. But now you can send email at home, and you no need to think about whether the mail can be reached by your client, for example, in 3 or 2 days, because sometimes it will be delayed by the postman or whoever. But now you have the email that you can just write an email and send to your client, and your client can read the email once they got it in the mailbox, and they can reply to you maybe in just 1 or 2 minutes of time. So it improved a lot of efficiency in the work. And with these technological changes, this has some impact on our society. First, downsizing, about the labor force. Downsizing is a term used for reducing the number of employees in an organization without necessarily reducing the work or the output. That means you downsize the labor force, say the assembling line, reduce the labor force from 50 to 20, for example, but your output wouldn't be affected. In other words, downsizing is an efficiency improvement way. It's not a negative to the company point of view. Next, delayering. Under the change of the technology or the advance in the technology, there's no need to have a lot of layers in the company organization. So delayering is the process of removing layers of management. This is usually to change the organization from one with a rigid structural framework with numerous layers of supervisory grades into a flatter organization with minimal layers of management. Such organizations tend to emphasize team working, with people taking on different roles in different teams. And another result from the technological changes is outsourcing. Outsourcing means contracting out aspects of the work. That is, the contract out aspect of the work of the organization previously done in-house to specialist providers. In some cases, suppliers are given access to the firm's records, so they can review production schedules and stock records to ensure that the supplies are delivered before they run out. So for outsourcing, it is also a way to improve the organization efficiency. Now we turn our focus to outsourcing. Outsourcing, there is some positive and negative point of view, but in general, there are 4 types of outsourcing. First, total. It means that all of your technology or IT platform are outsourced to one party, no matter its systems or services. Second type of outsourcing is ad hoc. It occurs when the organization needs IT support for a short period of time. And third type of outsourcing is partial. That means some IT functions are outsourced, such as maintenance or support, but others are kept in-house by the organization. And the last type of outsourcing, or for IT outsourcing, is the project management. Similar to ad hoc, this occurs when the creation and implementation of a specific IT system are outsourced to a third-party supplier. So all these are different types of outsourcing for IT functions. And if you consider about outsourcing, what's the pros and cons on outsourcing, then we will discuss here. we discuss about the positive side first. From the technological perspective or from the IT perspective, the first positive point is the supplier may have specialist skills and knowledge that the organization may lack, such as programming. For an organization, it is quite hard for it to hire an expert on programming to do it because maybe it is too costly, or the programmer or the IT expert cannot be fully utilized. So it's better for an organization to outsource the programming work to the supplier, to the outsourced party. Next, outsourcing may operate on a fixed fee contract. This removes any uncertainty about how much the company will pay for its IT in the year. So it's for certain, as it is a fixed fee contract for outsourcing IT function. It's good for a company to do the budgeting because it is very transparent and certain to know how much their company needs to pay for IT functions. Third, another positive side of outsourcing is it may improve business flexibility. So except for fixed fee, that is the budget can be estimated, the business flexibility is also a concern for many organizations. It allows the business to vary the level of work the supplier performs depending on demand. So when you outsource the work like IT functions to a third party to do it, if the volume or the demand for such services increased, you can just, hey, supplier, please provide more services to me. For example, if you increase your number of people in the office from 30 to 50, just to say, initially you have 30 people for the IT functions to support them, but right now you have 50. So you have to increase any in-house resources for the IT function to support 50 guys in the office on the needs for IT services. But if you outsource the IT function, that is quite easy for you to make a quick and fast decision. Just make a call with your IT function, with your IT service provider that's outsourced, and ask them to provide more services to the incremental 20 staff in your company or in your office. They just do it quickly. So it is flexible to any business in the society to do outsourcing on this way. And the last positive point from outsourcing to an organization perspective is the supplier may be more efficient at running the IT function for the organization, and it leads to cost savings. Because for those IT experts, they set up a firm to provide IT services to any organizations. That means they are expert in this area, and you no need to concern about their expertise because they are serving different kind of business or organizations for the same services they provide, like IT function. But there are still some negative points or disadvantages of outsourcing. First, if we talk about the supplier have specialist skills and knowledge, then it may be difficult to bring IT back to in-house at a later date. When an organization make a decision to outsource an IT function, sometimes it is a temporary decision because they expect the IT functions will move back to the organization as an in-house. However, when outsource happen at the beginning, it causes loss of staff with specialist skills from the organization. For example, if one IT expert stay in-house, and when you decide the IT function should be outsourced, even you would like to keep the IT expert in-house, it's very difficult to do it because the staff, the IT expert in-house may see there's no growth opportunity for him to stay in the company because the company decide to outsource the IT functions. So it's quite hard for a company to keep staff with specialist skills on this aspect. And outsourcing may lead to the organization being locked into an unfavorable contract with poor quality supplier. In general, outsourcing contract may last at least maybe 1 year or even for 2 years time. During the period, it's quite hard for an organization to change the service provider. Even the service quality is quite poor. You definitely have the right to do it for any organization to terminate the contract. But the consequence is not so easy to manage, because once the outsourced party left the organization, you have to consider whether the new one can pick up. During the transition period, if there's a gap, it means the IT functions or IT services during the transition period will be a disaster to the operation. So outsourcing have one negative side is, if it is unfortunate to have a poor quality supplier, the poor quality supplier will affect your operations, and it's quite hard to terminate it in short period of time. And outsourcing IT will allow third-party suppliers to gain access to the organization's information. This may be confidential, leading to a risk of data security breaches. It's quite straightforward, because when you outsource your IT functions to external party, it means that you have the data leakage risk. And the final negative points here is, when you rely on a third party for its IT, the organization will have no way to create its own unique system. This means that it cannot obtain competitive advantage from its systems. So for outsourcing IT functions, you have to consider whether IT functions is the core competitive advantage in your organization. If yes, then please don't do it, because you don't have your competitive advantage in future once you outsource to a third party. So now move on to discuss about the impact on business processes from technological point of view. In addition to organizational structure, technological changes also have impacts on the organization strategy. We will look into impacts on different aspects, including the product strategy, including the production processes, marketing, and society. So we will go through these 4 aspects one by one, how the process, how these types of activities affected by the technological change. For product strategy, technological advances allow many products to become increasingly more sophisticated. So in the past, the product is quite simple, but now should be more sophisticated. Just one example, like a product in the past, there's no electronic components, but because of improvement in technology, the products, even for a water jugs, can have some electronic device. So the products become more sophisticated, and the new technology can lead to the emergence of substitutes. For example, in the past, there's a physical maps or there's a book of map, and right now it's replaced by the use of navigation systems such as Google Maps. And for some industries, they have seen their business model completely transformed. One example is about online banking. In the past, there's no online banking, so the entry barriers into the banking industry is quite high. But now you have the online banking. In some countries, it allows the other market players like supermarkets to go into the online banking industries. The reason why the supermarkets would like to go into the online banking industry, because the supermarkets have a huge amount of customers, so it has a big customer base, and it is very convenient for supermarkets to advertise through their channel to the customers, and the customer have to pay to the supermarkets when they check out, when they buy the goods and they have to check out. And the supermarkets can set up a bank or online bank, because right now the entry barriers reduced, and supermarkets can set up an online bank for the customer to pay for the goods they bought in the supermarkets, no matter it's offline and online. So for different players can go into the banking system or the banking industry. And for customer support, another process or product strategy is about the customer support. In the past, some companies or some organizations would like to outsource the customer support or shift the customer support center to the low cost or low wage country. But now some firms have reinstalled call centers into their home countries after concerning about customer care, because of the technology or technological improvements, that it helps to reduce some of the costs behind, and it also changed the overall landscape in the call center industry. Next, about the production process, and see how the technological change, the impact on production processes. The most obvious way that technology has affected production is the use of robots and automated production lines. In the past, you can see a lot of workers or laborers in the production lines. But now if you go into the factory, no matter it's the automobile factory or any other type of factories, a lot of robots are installed in the production line. It means that the production process now is automated, and many manufacturers, they no need to keep a lot of labor to run the production. Apart from the production line, the IT systems is also used for more efficient scheduling and monitoring of production, and resulting in lower inventory levels, higher quality, elimination of bottlenecks, and lower cost. It's very important to run a factory, because the factory is talking about efficiency. If it is fully utilized, that means it's very efficient. It has the competitive advantage over other factory or other manufacturers. So the IT systems for factory or for production is very important in cost control. And third, we talk about the impact of technological change on marketing. Marketing talk about the price, talk about the promotion, talk about the distribution and market research. And when we talk about price, most price watch schemes now are IT based. That means the retailers monitor competitors' prices to ensure they are not being undercut by IT system. Or there are a lot of intelligence in the market to provide the pricing information to, say, to the supplier. Supplier just paid money to the intelligence agency, so they get the pricing reports. They know their competitor's price. Or they would like to do it in-house, they can set up a price team in-house to do it, but on an IT based. And for promotion, the use of website and promotional methods via social media, including viral adverts and the use of influencers to attract consumers. And it is a big change in the marketing from the past to now. In the past, you have the TV advertising, you have like the outdoor advertising. You don't know whether the consumers get the message and buy your products, because there's no tracking in the past. But now you have the website, you have the e-commerce platform, you have the social media, and once you read through the websites or you read through the advertisement in the social media, and then you click the link and buy the products finally through an e-commerce platform, the marketers know the consumer behavior, how many of the consumers watching the advertising through the social media and finally convert into the sales. So it improved a lot in the data collection, because in the past it is like a secret or no one knows in the past, but now you have some tracking to see how the consumer behavior through the online channel or the online journey. Is very important to the marketing people to do it. And also the internet has created a huge opportunity for many firms to sell direct to a wider range of potential customers. And in the past, you have to rely on your supermarkets or department store, or you can set up your own store to sell your goods or services. But now you have a way, much more easy way to do it is through an internet to sell direct from your website, from your company website direct to your end user. So without any needs of the middleman to help you. And the last topic under the impacts on business processes is about society. When we talk about society, society is dependent upon computer and communication technology. Some industries may disappear, but new ones emerging. So here we talk about like e-commerce, we talk about home shopping, home banking, home learning, home entertainment, teleworking, many different topics. As you see here, e-commerce, online banking, teleworking. In the past, they didn't happen in the past, or they didn't exist in the past, but because of improvement in a technology or advance, you can see how these activities or industries changed our life in the society as a whole. But as said, some industry disappeared, like some retail shops. They disappear because there's more online shop. The people can shop online at home. There's no need to go to the department store or go to the street to buy the goods from the retailers. But there's still new industries like e-commerce, online banking, and create some more jobs for IT functions like programming. We need more programmers, or we need more people know how to do the website design. So it creates another market for the jobs to different people. And now here is the in-class question time. We have 4 options, and which of the following is likely to be an advantage of an organization outsourcing some of its less important operations? So the key is not only outsourcing, is less important in operations. So you have to remember what are the advantages of outsourcing. Okay. And here are 4 options. First, increased level of skill within the organization. And second, increased workload for directors and senior managers. Third, increased time for management to focus on core operations. And fourth, increased control over the outsourced function. In the exam, sometimes you see there are 4 options, but one option is obviously not the possible one, like option B, because increased workload for directors and senior managers is definitely not an advantage. So you can cross out this. It should not be the answer because it's not an advantage. So if you don't know how to answer, you can just cross out the option that is very unlikely, like in this question, okay, because it is not an advantage. So if you remember, when we talk about outsourcing, we show you a table showing the positive and negative side of outsourcing. So when you read through the table, you can answer this question by picking the right option.